So what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today we here with one of our brothers. I'm pretty sure you've seen his YouTube channel by now. If you are the type of person that like to get information about Africa, his channel is called GoBlack2Africa. I remember seeing his channel he first started, and then I also saw his journey, you know, on the continent as a American and doing things I probably wouldn't do. I will say, especially that video that he did recently about eating some sort of bug. That wouldn't be me, but God bless that brother. So, brother, thanks for joining us on the show today.
Thank you for having me, Phil. I appreciate it, man, being here on your platform.
All right, brother. So, you know, talk to people that maybe never seen your channel, you know, and because like I said, some people may know who you are, some people may not know who you are. Well, tell people just a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, again, as Phil mentioned, that my channel is called GoBlack2Africa, and I set on a venture probably about 5 years ago to go to Africa. To, I guess, have that reconnection that probably many of us have that, that thought of going back to the continent. And, you know, one reason really was a pressing matter for me was I was born in Africa. Interesting thing, I'll keep it short, but my dad was military. My mom and dad was stationed over in Greece, and they took all the pregnant women and flew them over to Tripoli, Libya. So I was born there, and it was always an interesting topic when I was in school growing up that I would tell people I was born in Africa. So to make a long story short, basically, that had called me a lot of years that I had never was able to get an opportunity to come back to the continent. And then 5 years ago, I did. And in saying that, after the 5 years, my first time going, I was really intrigued. I was moved. I was shocked. One, I was shocked because I could not believe the amount of African Americans that were already there and been there for some years. And I was more or less like, you know, why didn't y'all send a memo to us? Where y'all been? I've never heard that, you know, we were here. And so it really moved me. And to see that how great our brothers and sisters are doing over there. Many have business ventures, and, you know, there are those who might be retired. But I'm talking people who's been there 30, 20, 10 years. And when I saw that the first country I went to was Ghana. I went there on a tour, but you know, when I saw all this enjoyment, that the freedoms they were enjoying there, you know, I told myself that I had to share the footage and all that I had collected with the world. And I sat on that for 3 years. And last year was when I decided I would go ahead and share with the world all the footage I had, and I was going to go ahead and return to Africa in October last year. So yeah, that was it. But I wanted to start this channel, GoBlack2Africa, because it's got, to me, it's a threefold purpose. One is that you know, going back, and I you know, I've come across we as a people here in the Western world kind of lost our identity, and, you know, it's sad, and it really bothers me when I see sometimes people want to put away their identity of African. And, you know, they take more pride in calling themselves American. And so, you know, the old stigma, the old narrative that, you know, the Western world has put over Africa that has caused this embarrassment or the shame for our people, that I saw differently. And I wanted people to see that we are doing it big in Africa. You know, that Africa is not an undeveloped country, or excuse me, a continent in some countries. There aren't these people falling over, dying from Ebolas and HIVs that they want to portray. There is none of these tribal wars of, you know, that you think that are always going on. Not to say that hasn't been, or, you know, that might be going on here or there, but, and, you know, these starvations of people who are hungry. I saw contrary to that. I saw peace, I saw love, I saw abundance of food. Many of the countries I've been to, I've seen, you know, cars that are greater than here, you know, the limousines, whether it's the Mercedes and the BMs that people think are the fancy things. I've seen the skyscrapers, I've seen the beautiful houses, the mansions, and something that is rarely shown to us. So I thought it was a duty of mine to go ahead and to share my journey and to bring the enlightenment to our people. So that was one fold. The other was spirituality. That I know that even here that we have lost our spirit, our morality in being in the Western world, that we have taken on what I call damn Erica, which is, excuse me if that if I can't curse enough, but I like to put the D in front of America, capitalize the E, and call her what she really is damn America, that portrays to be something that many people believe is, but it's not. And we have been fooled, and we think that freedom is really what we're experiencing right now. And there's just a greater freedom that I try to show what is over in the motherland. I try to show even with the locals. I interview locals. I show housing. I show cities. I show business opportunities. I show a lot of things. And in that journey, I have done it myself to show you that you can go start a business there. I've done it myself. I've bought 2 properties over there that people don't believe you can go buy houses or whatever. I bought 2 properties over there. So I'm on the business venture. I'm on the buying, real estate over there. And I show people that this is something that could be done without a lot of bureaucracy, without a lot of red tape, so that, for only those who believe there's got to be something greater than where they are. And there's a place possibly that, they can reach their full potential because the sky is not the limit that we were taught. It's limitless there in Africa. And so I figure that in that knowing thyself spiritually, knowing who we are as far as, physically, and then on this side is mentally, that hopefully that my trip could at least provoke thought, provoke one to at least search out and find their truth. So yeah, that was it for as far as me starting my channel. I here in America, for those who are interested, what did I do for this, all that there. I'm a businessman, first and foremost. I did 20 years in the Air Force. I retired from the Air Force, but I've always had businesses along my military career. I had started small with the barbering business, but it grew. I had 3 barber beauty shops. I had a beauty supply store. That took me to a level of wealth that I never would have thought I would have been. And then I went into real estate. I messed with real estate, owned properties now here in America and also over in Africa. And so, yeah, that's what I do. And where I actually lay my head is in Africa now. Africa is my home. I come back here to damn America to, I've had to meet my wife here, and we haven't worked out how we're going to do those things here in the next couple of years of making sure we are still part in married, part in being together in our marriage. So yes, that brings me here, Phil.
Oh man, here's so many things you said, but
Yeah.
the last thing you said, that's an interesting one because when you sometimes in marriage, I know that you either evolve with each other, or if you don't evolve together, that's sometime when you start doing that. Because at first I never understood, when I would see people be married 20 years, 30 years, like, why y'all getting a divorce for? Y'all been together freaking longer than somebody been living. But then, as me being married, and the guy I am today isn't the guy I was when I got married with my wife, right?
Yeah.
So my evolution into who I am today actually happened during my marriage. But my wife's the type that evolved very well with me on that. And so some people don't realize my wife sound probably more militant than I can sound at times, but people just don't know that because they don't know her whatsoever. They just make a judgment on her if they see her, but they don't know how she talk. But that's wow. Okay, so you wanted to base from what you're saying is you feel your life is going to the continent, and it seemed like your wife has some reservations. Yeah, that's I see what you're talking about. That's not, but see, my wife when she first went to Nairobi, she fell in love with it. She's like, oh my God, I love this city. He said, I can move here. She fell in love with it the moment she got there.
My wife, she doesn't necessarily have reservations. She has a couple commitments she has to finish. Mm-hmm. So, she's been there already to Africa when we was in Kenya, Rwanda, and Tanzania, Zanzibar. So she's got to experience that. And, I'm thankful for my wife. My wife is a very understanding woman who I can say, who respects me and also who trusts in me to where that is not an issue in our marriage to where, you know, we just bond like that, you know.
Well, I would say based on your trips and even some of your videos, I can tell your wife is trusting, because some women will be like, why are you trying to be over here this long? What you got going on? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, but some people don't realize you get to a point in your life as a man that women just don't impress you like that. It takes a lot for that to even happen.
Oh, I'm out of those woods, man. I'll be 55 at the end of this month. And, you know, when I was a young pup back in the day, you know how it is, you know, you sow your wild oats, and then, you know, you take your bumps and bruises right along with it. You start to learn some things. And then when you go through a divorce, whatever, like I did, I was married 17 years in a prior marriage, you know, you try to learn from that, and then, you know, pick up the pieces and move forward. And, you know, what I believe that bringing me and my wife together was something very special that, you know, it's totally different. And so, you know, I'm thankful for it. I'm really thankful for it because, you know, like you said, you know, we see, me and her, we see things a little different. We've been married 5 years. Both of us been previously married. So, you know, when you go through the grinds of life in a marriage, and, you know, you really don't see, you know, the whole makeup of it and the dynamics of it, and you go through it, whatever, you know, but there's a greater appreciation, you would think, when you connect with that next person. And
so basically what you're saying is, and we just talking about married folk talk now, ladies and gentlemen. So basically what you're saying is you was at one particular place when y'all got married. You wasn't doing all the Go Black to Africa when you got married, correct?
Nah.
So you were just a businessman with multiple businesses here in the U.S., retired military, you know, you just doing good for yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you started to look at the motherland like, you know what? I've been moderately successful here in the U.S. Cool. But I just think it's something a little bit more that I need to do. And from what you're saying is she's kind of still stuck with the guy she met versus the guy that you are now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. The evolution I'm talking about. Yeah. Right. That's a whole stream in itself. The evolution in relationships. And I say every 5 years, for my experience, every 5 years, people change. Either you evolve with each other, or you're gonna break apart. That's really kind of how it's gonna work. But you know, that's just my experience.
Oh yeah.
But let's get back. So you was mildly successful here. So you mentioned a beauty supply store. You still own that?
Nah. That was back in, back in 1998, man. I was probably one of the few brothers I knew who owned a beauty supply store. And the beauty supply store was there in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Okay, so what made you give that up? Because, you know, we need more brothers and sisters to have beauty supply stores. You was in the gold mine.
Yeah, definitely. But it's because I was, it was part in my military career. I was getting stationed a lot of places. Okay. And ex at the time was the one who actually ran all that, did a great job. We had a delivery service as well that was delivering to all the local barber beauty shops around as well. But, you know, had to ship out, man. And to have that type of business, to really have to trust somebody to take care of all that work of keeping up stock, keeping, you know, the inventory, and, you know, doing all the paperwork and the taxes and all that right there. It was something that I did not want to leave behind, but yet try to, you know, still be part of.
So did you sell it to another Black person that could take over?
Nah, nobody really wanted to. Nobody was going to, you know, try to take over that. Now, I did have an Asian.
I bet you did.
Yes, they now were interested, which was another interesting story, because the sales reps who came in when they had to inspect my place to see that one, it's a legit shop for me to be able to buy hair supplies from them and equipment and stuff like that. That I'll never forget this, Phil. That one of the sales rep called a beauty supply store that was up in Denver, which is about an hour or so away from Colorado Springs, and told the guy what I was doing. This guy, he gave my personal phone number to this white guy, and this guy wanted me, because he felt threatened, because he had a delivery service down in Colorado Springs delivering supplies and stuff. He wanted me to go in partnership with him, and I told him no. And so, you know, but then also there was an Asian that lived there in Colorado Springs, and they had probably, theirs was 10 times bigger than mine. But, you know, I'll never forget her son. Her son name was Troy. Orientals, and I kind of knew who he was. She sent him to go spy in my shop, see all what I was selling over there and how much of a threat I was. But I called him out on it, and he basically confessed that yes, his mother was definitely concerned, and what impact would my business have on hers. And so she wanted to absorb my business, but I didn't. I wasn't going to pass that on her.
Okay, I was kind of sad to hear that nobody else Black wanted to, buy that. Of course, now that's back in the late 90s versus now you probably would have had a much easier time for Black people more so on the, hey, let's do what we're doing today.
Yeah.
Definitely time morph. Okay, so you went on your travels in the continent. Now let me go ahead and try to throw at you all the things that people would say to you nine times in the comments. Oh, well, Phil, the reason why he was in Africa traveling like that, making this YouTube, is because you heard what he said. He had money. He got retired from the military. So basically, he had money. That's why he went and done that, Phil. Us regular people can't do that. We're too poor, Phil, to go to the continent and travel like our brother here. So what would you say to them?
Oh, yeah. I've given many of those a mouthful because people think that I when I left in October, I was footing the bill. I started my YouTube channel August the 28th. I left out of the States here in October the 26th or something like that. I got my first check in October. It was $2,600, Phil. And I tell people this right here. I have yet to spend a penny of my money on my entire travels to Africa. It was YouTube. And these people who sit here and try to say that I'm retired, I make this money, I'm able to do this right here. And I tell them right here that they don't know what they're talking about. And this was one of the reasons why I want to show our people and prove to them that you can do this too. I sit here and I try to motivate and encourage people. They should start a home business or as well as a YouTube channel, if you will, or any other entrepreneur venture, because unlike most people who are the haters out there, the naysayers out there, will have you believe that I am spending my own money traveling around Africa when I have yet to spend one penny. And so I am a very transparent guy. I've even shared with the people how much money I've made. I started with nothing, zero on YouTube. And to this day, I'm at 79,000 US dollars I've made thus far since October of last year, Phil.
Yeah, I think I seen your video and you did that. I said, woo, you brave, because you know how it is in our community. You start talking about money like that, and the pocket watching vultures are coming.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure it came your way when you said that, right?
Oh, well, it got quiet. It got quiet, but you got some people don't believe. But see, like I said, I'm transparent. I showed them the paperwork. I showed them how much I got paid each month, in this venture that I'm on. And, I didn't even do it for money, Phil. I wanted to share my story. My daughter was the one told me that I was monetized, and I had to find out about the monetization because I thought, you had to have 4,000 subscribers and all that right there, 4,000 hours, but it was 1,000 subscribers. But when I saw that first check, and I sent it to my kids, and I did it every month, sending it to my kids. And I said, I'm gonna disclose this information to the people out here who are having some struggles, who might need some extra money. Some people who may need, some income to maybe defray the cost of some expenses. And around January timeframe is when I started to share and disclose how much I had made thus far. And so, and those people are quiet. You're going to have those naysayers and people don't believe what you say. But like I said, the people who's been following me on my YouTube, I'm as open as possible on my channel. I talk about business. I talk about budgeting. I talk about spirituality, not just Africa, because I know when I used to be that broke guy back in the days who had nothing. My parents didn't leave me with no silver spoon in my mouth. I was, rubbing pennies to try to hope that I can triple the penny. And it was just one day, one guy talked to me about, hey, why don't you try saving some of your money? And it started from there.
So, okay. So what if the next person that come along would say, well, what if a person don't do YouTube like you know, because you're doing YouTube and you say that you use YouTube money. And then what about us that don't do YouTube? Like, how can we travel like you?
Well, I mean, you know what? Every person has their own gift and talent. Everybody has their own thing in them that they have to find that thing. You know, I I have people ask me all the time. You know, I get all these emails. I'm quite sure you probably get 3 times as much as I do. But people always ask me, what business is going to work over there in Africa? You know, hey, what opportunities are for there? And I will say it to them, you know, until my last breath. You are the opportunity. You are the success. If you have to sit around and think about what will be successful, then you are missing the whole idea of what this life is about. You know, everything I tell people is everything I touch turns to gold, because I know the power, the God that I am, that anytime I touch something, I'm giving all in. I don't cut corners. I don't half step. You know, I don't sit here and try to play with it. You know, my kids laugh at me because they've seen all these different type of ventures that I've gone on, the different type of work I've done, the businesses. And so, you know, all of us have it. And you just have to tap into it, because I hear people give the excuses about, well, you know, I don't want to be in front of the camera. And I tell them, you know how many YouTubers right there you don't hear their voice. You don't see their face. There are people out here who has different niches in what they do on YouTube.
Yeah, they have people that just get behind the camera and just show what show like the people show what they're doing. Some people they got I've seen that just walk around.
Walk
Like
around.
that's it in different places, like you know, like with a body cam, just walking around and showing what it's like to walk around different streets, like in Latin America or Mexico or African countries. So, you know, you don't have to be on camera.
I just saw on YouTube today 20 different type of channels, YouTube channels you can have without showing your face or your voice. I just saw that today. So people can look that up.
Yeah, now if you want to know about the psychology of YouTube, it's better to show your face. If people want to feel like they want to connect with the person that's talking, so that's probably going to generate, you know, from at least what I read, generates a little bit more, you know, of a fan base and a viewership, because people feel like they know you per se. So I saw you traveling to a lot of different, you know, countries, and I heard you tell your Ethiopia story, and I thought that was quite funny. That the story that you told in Ethiopia, because I know like certain places in Ethiopia, they don't care about cameras, but then certain places they do. So what have you learned about the continent and cameras overall?
Every country is not alike. And you know, definitely the countries that speak very little English, you best carry with you someone who can translate, you know. Because there are some countries who have had past histories of whether it's terrorist attacks, you know, that they're very sensitive. Kenya is one of them, you know. I mean, it's hard to film in Kenya. You know, Ethiopia, because some of the issues they may have had in the past, and they still having some up there in Tigris, I think up there. Some people are very leery of you just walking around with camera and just wanting to know what you're up to. And so, and during the time I've been traveling, of course, you know, people have forgotten about tourists, because everybody, you know, tourist scene has fell off. So now you got, you know, very few people walking around, and now you got this guy who's got this camera, you know, who they may only see, you know, the Mzungus who do, you know, the touring for the most part. But seeing, you know, a brother like myself walking down the street with cameras and, you know, scoping the place out, that security guard, you know, he basically heightened his I guess his curiosity, where he come chasing down the street after me and wanted to pick a stick up and snatch my daggone battery cable out of my phone. So it was a tough situation, you know. Thank goodness I did not, you know, put no hands on him, because it happened so fast, and I was surrounded by the locals, that there was a guy that could speak the language, and you know, and so I try to make a little, you know, fun of it, you know, in a sense.
Yeah, you brave, because you know, each time I went to whatever country, I made sure I had, especially in Ethiopia, we had one young brother, you know, he's in Tigray for sure, Biam, and then the other brother, Johannes, you know, we had them with us wherever we went. So, and they had, like, I know when Brother Sharif was flying that drone one time down the river, you know, all of a sudden we look up and like about 10 of them showed up. I'm like, where they come from?
Yeah.
You know, the one minute you just there by yourself, next minute you turn, it's like 10 people that showed up on you. Like, how y'all pull up so silent?
That's what
How
they
they be
did to
pulling
me.
up silent like that?
It was amazing. Out of nowhere, I was circled. They circled around me. And they had to look like, yeah, what are you up to? You know, and it's like, uh-oh, this ain't good. But you know, like I said, I kind of kept a smile on my face, and I'm saying, I'm showing beautiful Ethiopia. Y'all my brothers, my sisters, you know, everybody wants to see you, you know. So they eased up a little, yeah.
Yeah. Because I know when they pulled up beyond, when holler at them, you know, let them know what was going on. They're like, oh, okay. Then Brother Sharif was showing them the drone, kind of like the footage from the drone. They were like, they got all excited and interested about the drone footage and all of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of like they're more so curious, like what you got going on. And that's good though, because, you know, I wish we were like that in our neighborhoods, even in the US, like somebody strange to show up and everybody to show up like, hey, man, you know, I'm not talking about no gang member. I'm talking about just the average people say, hey, what you got going on? You know, we kind of like cut down a lot of issues in our neighborhoods like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So what country was, in your opinion, in your travels, your opinion, and then we get to Sister Tiffany later. What was the best country for you?
I'm asked that all the time, and I don't have best and least. I don't. I find them all interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I find them all different cultures and people, and you know, ways of life that it intrigues me, and that's what really keeps me, even one part of me going on and visiting on to the next country is just seeing the differences, really. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so but you don't have an experience where you can say, I don't know about that. You know, you
Not
haven't had
yet.
the
You know
experience.
what? Not yet. You know, I'm not. You know, people get on me when I say, you know, South Africa is going to be my last country I go to, because you know I still have that lingering, you know, memory of the apartheid and still some of the issues that are still their struggles that are going on, and you know I try to stay, you know, away from those. I'm gonna keep those at the bottom. Really, the ones that have more of the Mzungu influence. Even though I was in Botswana, I was there in Namibia. And you know, they have about 30% population of Mzungus that are there. I mean, each one is different in their own making, and that's why I'm showing people and telling everyone is like, you know, get in where you fit in at. There is a country, a city for you here, and there's really no reason why you could not find a place for you. You know, whether you want a large city, whether you want the countryside, whether you want on the beach, whether you want on an island, it is there. It's all there for you. You know, I mean, and the opportunities, you know, that await us there. You know, to bring our talents there. You know, I just can't say it enough.
Well, let's ask you a question. Of course, you know, when you came on the live and everything, and you heard me referring to Sister Tiffany about her experience. What was your take on that? Do you think that some of her take was because of her youth, or and maybe it's different with you versus in me, because we may have different experiences due to the situation me and you may be in? But what was, you know, because, you know, what she said, a lot of people like, ooh, you know, they raised their ears about it,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I heard Traveling Sister, you know, shout out to her, was talking about some things that she said about the grabbing of the arm deal. And I've actually heard a couple of women say that, you know, about how the men just grab up on them like that, you know, coming from the US, you know, that's not allowed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, that's her personal experience. You know, I cannot try to debunk or try to say what her experience did not exist. Everybody has their own experience. You know, you already know with my experience. You know, I've had my GoPro stolen. You know, I almost got pickpocketed in Ethiopia. You know, my GoPro was almost my GoPro was stolen in Tanzania, and you know, I had some confrontations in some other countries and stuff like that. They happen. Such is life. And so, you know, I've watched her video from the beginning to the end that she had put out there, and I guess one of my concerning things were that. In her own admittance that she was not honest and she had lied and she wasn't forthcoming and was, you know, sharing some stories that may not have been absolutely true. And that was, you know, concerning for me. But her story is her story. I can't take that away from her. We all have our experiences. And, you know, I've said, you know, from a country or two that I would not move to because of certain reasons. And so that's her story. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I listened to the video and she said, yeah, I knew exactly what you're talking about, but what she was saying was she wasn't forthcoming on the negative things. She was trying to sugarcoat everything.
Exactly.
With everything with positivity and not sharing the, you know, the stories like that. Because I always share anything that happened to me. I always share it because I want people to know, hey, look, don't go there with this mentality like it's romanticizing, because that's just not going to happen. And then I think one thing that's happening now on the continent, you could discuss this because you've been to many different countries. The Pan-Africanism and that thought process of it, that's more so coming from the diaspora sense, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You may have a few Africans that understand that. There are a few.
Mm-hmm.
And they with it, right? But could you share with people what the thought processes really is there on the continent? Because some people, they need to be prepared for that, so they don't go. They go over there and say, "Hey, I'm here," and they be looking at you like, "Okay," you know.
Yeah, it's education, you know, and that's what I've had to do in every place I go, is educating the local people on who I am, where I come from, what my history is, what it's like, and also some of the, not just my experiences, but also some of the things that have that are transpiring around the continent of Africa that many Africans just do not know. And so when I engage in the local folks in my travels and all, you know, I just try to tell them that, you know, hey, the struggle is real, you know, where we're coming from, damn America, that, you know, we blacks, you know, who are coming to Africa for the freedoms, you know, coming for liberty, coming for justice, you know, and it's just that a lot of them don't know the history, you know, they've heard or what have you, but to the extent of where, you know, that Pan-Africanism, everybody got their own story to tell. Many of them don't know that story. You know, Tanzania, for instance, you know, they have a total different story. You know, the history of their slavery was from the Arabs, and they were, you know, they know that their people were taken off, you know, to, you know, whether it was, you know, Yemen or Oman or Saudi Arabia. You know, our story is not really known to them on the so-called east of Africa. Of course, on the west of Africa, it's known because of there still are, you know, those, you know, dungeons and those museums and things that they have in place to have that story told.
Yeah, and yeah, and Arab slavery was around before the white man was doing
Oh
it.
yeah,
Just the white man, especially when they got to the Royal African Company out the UK, they perfected the hell out of that, you
yes,
know, and
oh
they
yeah,
took it to a much bigger level than the Arabs. That's for sure. The Arabs was kind of, you know, guerrilla doing it that way,
yeah.
just grabbing people up. The white man say, nah, I'm a finesse and I'm a grab at the same time. So with those stories, would you say it being said, like I know certain countries that were colonized by, let's say, the British.
Yeah.
Would you say they could kind of understand a little more? Those
They
who were colonized, I'm gonna say, by the British at least.
no. For what we've been through as far as slavery,
No, more so kind of like, because colonization and slavery, you know, at the end of the day, you're not running your country. I
yeah,
mean, the white man's overtaking it. You follow what the white man say. And if you,
yeah,
there's a book that I was given. Oh, I forgot the name of that book that talk about all the atrocities that the British had did in Kenya. I mean,
mm-hmm.
horrible things. They even got some of the videos what them cats was doing to them over there.
Mm-hmm.
Those that know the history, you know, do you think they can kind of relate?
I would say no. You
No.
know, I look at the colonization was almost like a covert operation in a sense. You know, I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't to the magnitude of where, you know, you have an overt operation in slavery. And, you know, I see that the wool pulled over the eyes of our brothers and sisters in Africa when it came to colonization. They think they have their freedom, you know, but behind the scenes, we still know who are running things there. But the great thing is that Africa's waking up, and the youth are, man. I'm gonna tell you, the youth now, they are in the know because they're connected more into the social media, and so, you know, to my amazement, they are picking up a lot of education off of the YouTube, because, you know, it's very limited in certain countries when it comes to cell phones and internets and access and stuff, but it's slowly growing. And so with the colonization, you know, and I share this with many Africans, is that, you know, they look at the colonizer, you know, that it was in that period of time, that it happened in the past. We've moved forward. We're going forward. We have our independence. And, you know, I tend to, I tell them this right here. I was like, you know, because I did military, I was in security, and I also worked in intelligence, is that you got to understand how operations work. You know, every time I see a cathedral, I tell them that right there that's spies. That's the eyes and the ears on the ground to report back what is going on. Anytime anything moves on this city that might not be that, or might be contrary to where that so-called entity of the Catholics, whatever, they're gonna be in the know. They're gonna be in the know if there's gonna be uprising. They're gonna be in the know of it. You know, anytime you see that people coming in your communities, building a school, or they're trying to give you a handout, you know, these are operations. You know, there's not, they're doing it out of the kindness of their heart. They're doing this to get a foothold. They're trying to get a leverage, and so that our governments need to understand that, you know, we have the experience with them coming from these Western worlds, because we had to live with them, work with them, we had to deal with them. And so it's a total different look at them than what I see that most Africans look at them as. Now, many I have talked to will say, yeah, they're coming here as tourists, and some are coming to live, you know, and we know their game. You know, there are those who are hip to it. But, you know, for the average, you know, they just see them as, you know, hey, they're here, they got their church, they got their this or that, and they don't see it in that same mindset that we would see them, you know, because we're used to it. When we know, when you see gentrification happening, you know they moving in to move you out. They don't see it like that, because we've had to deal with that all the time.
Yeah, well, you know, for me, from what I've seen, just my experience, the youth of the continent is going to be the group that turn that continent completely around. Because, like you said, they're more exposed. They know a little bit more. They know even some of the history now. You know, that maybe the older people did not know. You know, it's like just all the young people that I've been dealing with. You know, just even those I work with. You know, personally within our company, or even friends and that we have on the continent. I mean, they are totally different. And like to throw, you know, like you said, everything was so religion and this and that to hold people back too. The young Africans like, yeah, I know my family's that way and I love God and all that, but man, they own something totally different, you know. So, and I think that the young people, believe it or not, I really believe the young people scare a lot of the old people. Just like they scared, like young people scare these here in America, like the CBC and all of them. They scared because they know that it's going to be a major change coming.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and that's what I'm loving about it. Seeing that the youth they're in the know. I mean, you know, and they're very smart, you know, and I have that. That's the hope that I see for Africa, is the youth, you know, and you know, once we get the old heads out the way, and you know, we start to allow, you know, the youth to start to have their own mind, be able to explore across the continent of Africa, which amazes me that, you know, I used to do this questionnaire when I got there in certain of the countries, is asking them, can you name at least 10 African countries? Many can't do it. You know, many are only, you know, to their own area or the surrounding country that's next to them, but very few that could name more than 10. And the ones that could, Phil, are the ones who watch football or soccer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they on they sports kick. They believe in that football over there. You know, you say football to us is NFL. You know, NCAA football, but to them it's soccer. You know, and it's just amazing. Sometimes, you know, like you got a business mind. You know, I know when you get to every country, your mind probably start clicking. Like, ooh, I can do this. I can do that. I can probably do this. It's like it's crazy. Like just the opportunities that's out there.
And the reason it's like that is because really it's because of the average Africans are entrepreneurs. Everybody's out, you know, they got a business, you know, they doing something. You know, and that's the way they're raised. They're raised that, you know, you take your craft, your experience, and you sell it. Here in, you know, damn America, you know, we tell our kids to go to school and then go work for somebody. We don't tell them that, you know, you go get a business. So to me, when I go to Africa and I see all these businesses, and then coming from a country, you know, that your perception is different, you know, you like, oh, I can take that right there to another level. I can see this. I can do that with that or this or that. And like I tell people, it really gives us the advantage. It gives us the advantage when we're going over and we have a different experience, a different background, and a different perception where we can see something and say, I can put a spin on that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So brother, tell people, you know, how they can get to your YouTube channel, or even how they want to contact you, ask you about some information possibly, or maybe you got consultations. I hope you got consultations at this point with the kind of knowledge that you have. I would hope so.
I don't. I really don't.
Well, I would suggest you get consultations because if people are serious, they will pay you for your time. But tell people, you know, how they can get to your channel and everything.
Well, as far as consultations, yes, I've already gave the heads up to my subscribers and all that right there, that the day will come when there will be a fee, because with my channel, GoBlack2Africa, that's where you can find me. GoBlack, the number 2 Africa, as you see in my name right now, is my channel. And my email is GoBlack2Africa@gmail.com. And so I don't even use none of the other social medias that I have there, really, but that's really where you can find me at. Yeah, I mean, I know what Phil is saying as far as consultations and stuff. I'll be coming out with a book. It'll be a Go Black to Africa International Travel Guide. And so that's one thing I'm gonna be working on right now while I'm here. And look out for those right there, because I believe that, you know, the information, like Phil said, that I have, I have given this out for free. Like I tell people, I don't charge money and all that right there. But the most amazing thing is that you can weed out those who really waste your time. I've had a lot of time wasted by those people who not really intending to want to come, but they want to have conversation with you. So yes, you can reach me at there at GoBlack2Africa@gmail.com, and that's my channel there. Please pay a visit to the motherland. She awaits you. If anybody out there feels as though that there has to be a better way, there has to be a place that you can reach your full potential, that you have, you want to start businesses with little to no money, because I started this YouTube channel with zero. You know, the possibilities are there. The possibilities are there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we make sure to put, you know, the brother's information in the pinned comment. That way we just make it easy for you to go click it and go see what he's given, you know, to everyone for free. Like I say, he's not charging you anything. And so the brother is charged, and they understand he gave you a lot of free content, you know, so go check it out. So brother, you know, thanks for joining us on the show today. We greatly appreciate you taking up the time to speak to our audience.
Oh, appreciate you having me, Phil. You have a good one.